Is this democracy in Britain? By blocking Andy Burnham from running to become a member of parliament? Watch this GB News panel discuss Andy Burnham being blocked and share other scenarios that may occur because of this. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
Andy Burnham has been blocked from running in the Gorton and Denton by-election. That's according to sources close to the Labour's National Executive Committee. Well, yesterday, the Manchester Mayor announced his intentions to run, which was backed by the former Deputy Leader Angela Rayner and current Deputy Leader too, Lucy Powell. But many feared it would threaten Starmer's leadership. Let's dissect what has gone on in the last 60 minutes now. With me is the commissioning editor for The Spectator, Lara Brown, and the political commentator, Andy Twelves. Wow. I mean, this is not just a big statement from the NEC. It was an overwhelming vote. Andy, by 8-1, Andy Burnham's been blocked.
Yeah, on a panel of 10, obviously Shabana Mahmood as chair of the NEC abstained, as is tradition, but 8-1, only Lucy Powell, the deputy leader and kind of ally of Andy Burnham, backing him. I am genuinely shocked. You know, you had GMB union representatives on there, your USDAW representatives, you know, allies in Parliament of Andy Burnham, and they didn't back him. Keir Starmer on that panel voting against him. I think when we look back on this moment in 5 or 10 years, this will be the end of the Keir Starmer premiership. This has left him exposed to the right of the party and the PLP. This is an absolute sign of weakness. The fact he didn't even abstain on this. He's so insecure in his position that he's thrown away a guaranteed win in a parliamentary by-election. You know, Reform UK, they deserve to win it now, given the fact that because of his ego and his factional priorities, we've thrown away an outstanding candidate that would have won and would have contributed to our government and our party, and we've thrown it away because Keir Starmer's worried about his position in Labour. That is not country before party, that is party before country. I'm ashamed to be a member of the Labour Party.
Wow. I mean, this is an astonishing moment, Lara, because ultimately, allies around Keir Starmer will think, we've won this temporary battle. But as Andy's saying, I mean, might this lose him the war?
I think it might. The thing to remember is in a few years' time, Keir Starmer is going to go to the country and say, you have to vote for me, because if you don't vote for me, you risk reform getting in. And risking reform is the worst thing that you can ever do. And I'll try and tell us that Farage is in bed with Putin, et cetera, et cetera. But in making this decision, Keir Starmer is risking and probably handing a seat to reform, which seems like huge hypocrisy. Look at the polling. I still think this was a hard seat for Labour to win, but Burnham had a very good chance at winning it. Pretty much no one else does now. You're going to have a lot of Labour voters who go to the Greens. They'll do quite well. Odds are now Reform will walk away with this seat quite comfortably, which will significantly increase their parliamentary presence. And the NEC has just decided that they would rather try and shore Keir Starmer up, save him from the costs of dealing with Burnham in Parliament, than deprive Reform of a seat. That's a huge decision.
Andy, what do you make of the argument that allies of Keir Starmer will be making, no doubt, for the rest of the day, perhaps for many, many days to come in the run-up to this by-election, that Andy Burnham would be a big distraction, that this would create sort of psychodrama in Parliament, that this wouldn't be the sort of sensible or pragmatic thing to do, because all it would do is open the leadership up to a long, long period of uncertainty, instability, a sort of will he stand, won't he stand circus around Westminster?
I think a distraction would be welcome, to be honest with you. You know, we're, in third place in the polls, battling with the Green Party. I think a distraction and a break would be absolutely welcome. I think it's ridiculous as well. These National Executive Committee members, they're up for election this year. It's the internal democracy year for the Labour Party. Abdi Diwali won't be seeing his seat again. The other CLP section members of the NEC won't be seeing their seat again. The members are going to take this absolutely awfully, because what we're going to have a Reform UK won by-election, and then we're going to get trashed by Reform UK at the May local elections in the space of 6 weeks. That is going to absolutely destroy party morale and will destroy Keir Starmer's premiership. So he's decided, instead of at least winning the by-election and then giving an uptick to the activists for the May elections, and then going, he's decided that we're going to lose a by-election, going to lose the May elections, and then he's going to go. I cannot understand this decision at all. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I suppose it can be viewed through the very short-termist prism of political survival. I mean, could Keir Starmer really have done anything else today if he wanted to remain Prime Minister after May?
Well, there are a few things about how today went. In a perfect world, Keir Starmer would have had the votes without himself having to intervene. My understanding is he was on the panel. We had 9 votes. Therefore, we know Liz Powell went against. Therefore, he must have voted. I think he should be able to claim some distance from the NEC. That is quite shocking. To be charitable to Starmer loyalists, they're going to claim, I reckon, in the next few months that it would have been very expensive to have a by-election in Manchester for the mayoralty. It would have cost a lot of money, about $5 million for the taxpayer, and Reform might have won it. And they're going to claim that it would have been very bad for the economy to have the market anticipating a socialist leader coming in, and the sort of change that would happen from the moment Burnham came in. But I don't think this is good for Starmer. We're acting like Burnham is the only threat to Starmer's regime, and that is just not true. Starmer is his worst enemy, and at this point, he'll bring himself down in May. Doesn't really matter who's there to pick up the pieces. He's just cut one of the contenders for the crown after he's gone.
Well, it does seem like there is a sort of air of certainty almost about the fact that there will be a challenge to Keir Starmer. What form will that now take?
I imagine it will come through the members of the cabinet coming to him after the May elections and doing a, if you don't go, we'll go, threatening mass resignations of the cabinet. I imagine probably Wes Streeting will try and get his ducks in order. Angela Rayner will try and get her ducks in order. Maybe Shabana will try as well. But I imagine deals will be made. I imagine there'll be a left candidate and a kind of centrist candidate. And they'll come to him and go, you've got to resign. Otherwise, you'll see like the dying days of the Boris Johnson government, where it was, resignations every 10 minutes. You saw secretaries of state, ministers, junior ministers, PPSs resigning. I imagine that would be the kind of possibility that he'd be faced with after May.
I mean,
Was Andy Burnham blocked because Keir Starmer believes that he would have become a serious threat to his leadership? This clearly doesn't feel like a democratic process taking place in Britain. Andy Burnham has been blocked from running for Member of Parliament. At the same time, this decision limits voters' choices in Manchester and many other places around the country, blocking their full democratic right to select from a wider range of candidates. Even if you feel as if you are going to lose in an election as a leader, the democratic right of the people should not be taken away. Starmer keeps saying how good everything has been going under his leadership for the British people. If that's the case, why not show everyone the opportunity to vote and let the people decide if it's really been all sugar and spice for them? This isn't just about one blocked candidate. It's bigger than that. It's about the health of our democracy. Are we witnessing a breach of leadership accountability and integrity? Integrity means acting with honesty and without ulterior personal motives. Accountability means leaders should face open contest and scrutiny from within their own party, not rigged processes to avoid it. Here a leader appears to prioritize personal power retention over open, honest contest and public trust. That is a moral and philosophical problem. It undermines trust, fairness, and the very principles that sustain legitimate authority. Is this what they call a banana republic? It certainly raises questions about where Britain is headed as a nation. Britain should not turn away from its values and principles that made it great and move towards something else that only made other people's lives miserable around the world. Instead, leaders should treat their citizens with dignity, respect, and honor. Do everything in your power to allow people to live a higher standard of living. This will build trust between you and the people, and you will not have any need to block your opponents or the people from voting. If you value real leadership, accountability, and integrity in our politics, stand up for it now. Support leaders who face scrutiny openly and govern with honesty instead of blocking rivals out of fear. That is how trust gets rebuilt. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.